We are live.
We're here.
Everyone.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I know that it's like,
No, in
I think this is our
February
first session, right?
for the year.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What an honor.
Oh, we are honored. We are honored.
We're so excited to have Anne here. I think before I'll do an intro, I'd love to see if anyone is out there and where are you coming from or calling from or watching from. Today is Anne's birthday, right?
Yeah.
Yay!
Hey. Oh,
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Perfect use for the audience applause.
That was great.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
Love it.
we'll be here for the full hour.
Yeah.
Let's see how much we can
Our-
do and just like drive everybody completely insane.
I like it. Well, okay. How are you guys doing just in general before we go in?
I'm good. I definitely feel like it's been a little bit of a slower wake up to the year. I think it took me a minute. I went to Australia for the first couple of weeks, and then getting back, I was definitely slowed down for the week that I was back. So it like took me a minute to be like, hey, it's 2026. Like, you're back on. Let's go.
I know.
But that was all a distant memory now.
Was this like the first time that you fully powered down while away?
Close to, yeah. I did take my work laptop. I didn't really need to use it much. And there weren't really any fires to put out. Everyone was kind of taking a break, which usually for a recruiter, when everyone else takes a break, that's the best time to take a break too, because those moments don't happen often when everyone else is off. So yeah, I grabbed it. Yeah.
I enjoyed 2 weeks of bed rot. Like just I mean, well, I wasn't sick, but I was really like just relaxing and catching up on shows. I might have picked up a real book, I don't know, but I needed to just be alone from people, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
recharge.
Yeah.
So I do feel recharged.
I wrote out the storm that we've had. So on the East Coast has gotten pummeled with snow.
Yep.
In the past couple weeks. We had a big storm last weekend. And so me and my dude were in Nantucket. We just braved out the storm, just like inside this house. It didn't have a TV. We did have our digital devices with us. So we watched a little bit of, the new Game of Thrones show and, did some, kind of mindless stuff, but so much reading. And it was so cozy just to sit around in silence, like reading, like he was on a couch, I was on the chair.
Yep.
It was so great. And I'm like, why don't we do this all the time? Like, it's Jeff Goldhelp just put out this great LinkedIn post today where he's just like, if you want to do these things, like, and that is valuable, like that's, what your life is all about. It's like, you just have to prioritize it.
Right.
Yeah, the time. It's true.
You just have to prioritize, which is so true.
Sounds easy.
Right. Not so easy when like you go onto YouTube and it's like all these reels just start and it just gets you. Just like it's so sticky,
Yeah.
I've been using the brick. I don't know if I said this last time or before, but I bought the brick that blocks you from your apps, your devices. Highly recommend it. And I do feel like it's not quite there from like a UI perspective, but I like block my LinkedIn, my email, my Slack every night after work and all weekend. Now I feel like I can like end on Friday and come back on Monday in my office, but have like really left work. And if I really need to check something, I can undo it, but I don't want to. Like you're supposed to physically get up and go to the fridge and like unblock it. Whatever. If it's on fire, I think they'll call me. But
that's amazing,
right? But I think that's like as recruiters, we always feel like we have to respond so quickly. Like all recruiters we see every email, right? Because we're always waiting for some email to come through, so we're going to see everything. But yeah, I think it's really helped me with my mental health. So
this is the year of space, maybe.
Oh,
I think
Yeah.
it feels like maybe it's going both ways. We've got a lot of people leaning into creating more space and prioritizing reading on a couch or breaking the phone on the weekend. And then you've got good old 996 culture out there as well. So which is it?
Yep. Which is it?
I know. And how are you dealing with that? Because I feel like we just, talked before we all went live
Yeah.
today. Like I was up until 5 a.m, like on Claude, I was doing all this coding. Do you feel like you have to put stops in for yourself, like to unhook, or how does that work for you?
I am a firm believer in like designing systems to hack yourself.
Mm.
So I go down to my art studio and I leave my phone upstairs and I don't even think about it because I've been really pushing myself and everybody who will listen to go like do something with your hands.
Yeah.
Because and I just got back from a week in California, 10 days in California. I missed the snowstorm.
Good for you.
Work. I spoke at NAM, and when I spoke about AI and the creative process and how not to rot your brain and all that stuff. But then I had 5 days in Tahoe doing nothing. And during that time, I could feel all my creativity and energy regrowing.
Yeah.
So I think, and when I got home, I was like, you ever see like a bull leave the gate, just like a beast? When I got to my computer Monday, that's how I just couldn't wait to get back because so much had built up while I was resting. And I think rest is actually a productivity hack that people just don't get. Right.
Completely.
That grind culture, like you ever see the pictures of like 20 developers sitting on the floor with their computers, like just strung out, after 7 days nonstop, like everybody's going to crash. Like balance in all things. That is one of my taglines, and I live by it. And I always have paint on my rings and my hands and my pants, and that's how I do it. And I encourage people to find like their way of doing it.
I love that.
I love that. Joanne, you always say the same thing too. Like whenever you take a good break and then you come back and business is like so much better than before you left. And I always think about that.
Yeah, I think that we just really need it. Like I think, and I always say this, I'm just like, we're a bunch of cave people that like to sit around a fire and tell stories. That's who we are. That's how we're built. We're not built for this modern world. Like
I agree.
In Silicon Valley, it's like they're hijacking our dopamine systems to keep us hooked. And it's really effective.
It works pretty well.
I mean, they're doing a great bang up job out there, but to everybody's detriment, right? So I feel like it's like a revolutionary concept or like just a stance to take of just like, I'm not doing that. I'm going analog. I'm leaving my phone upstairs while I'm painting in the basement, or I'm using brick, like doing these things. I think that's what's going to save us.
Yeah. It's definitely the year of like community and like in-person stuff. And that's what I'm seeing just in general around New York. All right. Well, I'll do a little intro for Anne.
I love that.
This is Anne Cantera. She is a UX designer specializing in conversational AI, voice interfaces, and chat-based products. She has worked across enterprise consumer experiences in areas like AI, education, healthcare, and hospitality. She's recently left the corporate world to start her own business, which will be, I think, focused on designing and advising on conversational and AI-driven experiences. And then more fun, earlier in her career, she actually owned and ran a bakery. So she has a culinary background, which we would love to hear about, for custom cake design. And obviously we'd love to hear about that transition. But yeah, and she's also a wonderful speaker, a mentor, and very active in the AI space. So welcome, Anne. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Nice. I don't know where to go with that.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Tell us about, I guess, your early beginnings.
It's my birthday. You guys are gonna figure out how old I am when I say this. So I went to culinary school at 17, and I don't know how much after I graduated, but I got my first taste in tech in very early 2000s. I went to school for web and graphic design. I got my first certificate, worked in the space. And then I had like a huge time frame where I had 3 kids, 2 businesses, my husband's business, in tech, out of tech, in food, out of food, just
Wow.
with kids, without kids, right? It was just huge amount of learnings from kind of digging into all different places. And then about 6 years ago, I said, that's it. I'm not doing these long hours anymore. My kids are big enough. I'm going to go back to tech. I'm going to go back to school. And in the last 6 years, I want to say I got 12 certifications, and all the AI ones happened in the last like 4 years.
Wow.
And I got started in the AI stuff early-ish. There's plenty of conversation designers who've been at this, for 10 years.
Yep.
I got started like 6 months before generative AI hit, so I got a taste of that pre-Gen AI work. And learn kind of those foundations. And it all started when one of my mentors, her name is Rupa Chaturvedi. She is ex-Google, ex-Amazon, ex-Uber, all the places.
Yeah.
Queen of design. She posted, it was either about conversation design or AI. And I had that, do you have the angel singing sound effect? Because I had that angel singing moment. I saw the post and I was like, drop everything. This is the future of everything. And just heads down conversation design, voice flow, writing, designing conversation design flows, learning voice, because voice was so much more difficult than chat because there's no UI.
Right.
The UI. And to this day, I still am very hardcore. Voice is going to choose a lot of UI in the future. You should learn top skill to learn. All the VCs are putting their money in. I don't know if you guys saw today, 11 Labs got not a bajillion dollars, but a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
They're leading the space in voice. And I think chat still has some work to be done in some areas. But that's kind of what got me started down the path. And then one of the main pieces of getting started down the path to a job was building freelance, because I tell people this all the time. Nobody's going to hire you with no experience. That's how it works. I can't get a job because I can't get experience. I can't get it's the loop. We're all
Yep. That's 22.
Go out and find people to build things for, and build them publicly. Be vulnerable in public. Talk about what you're learning. Talk about what you're building. I did enough of those where LexisNexis gave me my first shot. And then I left there and I went to Optimum, and it was the same thing. It was customer service, IVR, phone menu type things, conversions to AI. And I'm such an emerging tech person that I just was ready to not do the same thing. I wanted to be doing swarms and multi-agentic systems and just, multimodal design, multiple hardwares and how they work with each other. And that's a whole other thing. But I just wanted to be free to do all that stuff. So now I'm doing AI implementation consulting for small businesses. And what was interesting was I called my lawyer to get everything set up. He's like, I'm not your lawyer. Let me give you this other lawyer. I called this other lawyer, and he was like, I want to be your first customer.
Wow. Cool. Love that.
CPA, right? The CPA who's going to set up the business. He says, I want to be your first customer, because small businesses want to implement AI. They want to save time. They just don't know how.
Right.
There's so much hype.
I'll be your next customer.
Yeah, there's just so much hype in BS, right?
Well, and maybe I would love if you could walk everybody through, what does that actually look like when a small to medium size or a small business comes to you and says, I need AI help? In what ways will you help them? What will that do for them?
If a lot of it is the good old UXR, get in there and research what they do, what their workflows are, what each employee does, what systems they're using, because most of the time the biggest problem is the legacy stack that they're on is not going to play nice with AI. So now they're like, oh, now I got to pay to upgrade all that before I can even make the AI really work well. So there's some resistance to that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the meme with the bar of soap with the soap pump stuck in it, and it's kind of symbolic of like trying to put AI, like the new stuff, in the old systems.
The old
And
format.
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. So, but it's not going away. I'm also like, one of my other things, I didn't make this up, but I'm a firm believer in like walk before you run. So maybe you don't need AI just yet, but maybe you need some automation in your email, right? Your email just being sorted in a way that makes you more productive. Or, I'm a firm believer in, and I preach this a lot, in using AI to extract your thoughts, your creativity, your ideas, versus just plopping out slop, which I posted earlier today that I made up that saying today. I want it on the record books. So I think we all kind of need to rewind a little bit and learn how to use AI to make the most of you, yourself, and what you do, versus just using it as a generation machine.
Yeah.
So some of the things I do, one of the main things I do is, I'm a huge Claude fan. If I want to write an article, say on agent orchestration, I just did a carousel on that. I will say to Claude, interview me about the concept of agent orchestration, take my exact responses and craft them into an article. Do not change my words, right? So it's pulling what I have. And what's cool about that is, where I have gaps in my knowledge, I'm figuring it out as I go. I'm like, it's very cool to fill in your own gaps that way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't even realize you have knowledge gaps. So I'm creating knowledge for others, but I'm also learning so much as I go, because we all miss things. I miss things. But this little strategy of mine has really been helping me keep learning, which is my primary addiction, I would say, next to coffee.
And you're finding that, so when you say that you're finding out what you don't know, is that based on the questions that Claude is asking you? You actually don't know the answer to that?
Yes, or I only know like a little bit about it. And I'm like, hey. And the other cool thing it can do, make sure you check your sources. But if I want like examples of I'm trying to find a good example of what I would want an example of. I'll say, go out online and find me some articles to kind of back up what I'm saying, right? Like the ROI of AI, right? Go out and find me 3 articles about the ROI of AI that I can use in my article. Because there's lots of thoughts on that. There's lots of, I think there's a lot of skewed numbers, put it that way. Yeah.
I like that prompt.
Yeah.
I'm really curious on the on some of the conversation design side of things. And that seems like it's an area of expertise that you've developed. Like, all of us have encountered calling a company and going through your phone trees, or, we're trying to get a result or information or close an account or something. And we go through all of that. I think everyone's probably experienced some version of that, but there must be a whole new paradigm shift coming with that, in terms of maybe how some of these conversation services can work and how much better the technology might get, because I think we've all been frustrated with those in the past. Is that an area for you that you're digging into, you're tackling, you're seeing how the technology can improve these things?
Like I just left, right? Because there's enterprise and then anything else. And enterprises, they're the ones that have the notoriously legacy systems, and they're the ones who have the most people calling, and they're the ones who make leadership's making decisions about what tools to use when they have no technical people in those sales meetings, which is like my biggest complaint. It's, you're choosing to spend millions of dollars on a tool and a platform, and you have no experts in the room.
Right.
And
not a good starting point.
Right.
A lot of enterprise gets pulled into older tools because the name recognition and whatnot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the smaller businesses who are able to dive in with newer tools are doing better work and yielding better experiences, because there's less BS, there's less typical corporate battling. All that stuff goes away, and it's just like, one of my favorite platforms is called chatbotbuilder.ai, and the CEO is so active in the Discord that as soon as there's kind of a gap in user need, he's right there and he's like, "It'll 2 weeks. We'll
build it."
We'll build it." And
Wow.
those are the companies, those smaller companies are the ones that you call and have these amazing AI experiences with, because it's just a different animal.
Right.
Enterprise has a lot of work to do. And it's not easy, and it's not, I think people get sucked in by the thinking it's going to be easy and fast. And on enterprise, nothing's easy and fast. Everybody should know better at this point.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you have the legacy systems on top of it, like billing system from 1983. Plopping an AI on top of that to be able to make a payment over the phone is not going to be quick and easy necessarily.
Yeah.
So there's two camps though, and I teach this too, like the enterprise camp and the everything else camp. Like I feel like a lot of the fun and all the more interesting stuff is happening in the everything else camp, but the jobs with the benefits are happening in enterprise.
Right.
Yeah.
So
story.
it's two separate learning paths. Like you need to learn different tools. The foundation's pretty much the same, but like the tools they use in enterprise are very different than the tools you can use in the everything else space. And part of the reason why I left enterprise is because I like the tools in the everything else space, and it's not supposed to be about the tools. Sometimes it is, especially when you're completely dependent on it.
Yeah, it's the technology. Do you think that a lot of people that go through these conversation design challenges, right, or companies trying to implement these kind of services for their customers a lot of time, I just want to speak to a person. I just want to speak to a person. But is the technology, AI, the design getting us to a point where actually it would probably be more effective to speak to the AI because it can do more, it knows more, it doesn't have gaps in its knowledge? Like, do you see a future where people stop saying like,
yes,
I want to speak to a human?
Well, we're not going to have a choice, right? Like certain companies are already weaponizing their AI and you have no chance of getting to a human. Other companies care a little bit more.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a progression. I'm doing sort of investigative work into adaptive UI, which basically means your question's answered before you can answer it, right? Like the UI is building itself based on what it knows about you before you even and during, right? But I think for now, in the next few years, I'll still say it depends. In the sense of, if you're calling to make a payment and you need to do something simple, you'll be able to do it. You want your balance, you'll be able to do it. Anything with some complexity is still going to require a human in the enterprise area, at least for a while.
Yeah.
Less so in the everything else space. So yeah, I did my 2026 predictions article, and I'm calling the next few years the messy middle. Because everything's very messy right now. People are figuring things out. But I think eventually where we all end up is having a personal AI in our devices, which I call a kit. It could be your phone, your necklace, your ring, your headset, whatever it is. And like, if you're having trouble with your cellular company, your AI is going to reach out to their AI.
Right.
Right.
It's going to be agent to agent.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that. Just outsource it. Don't have to deal with the headache.
Yeah.
Great.
Solve it.
But it's the battle over your data, though, that I think is so. If you have an AI on your phone that knows you, your kids, your height, your weight, your doctor's name, your kids' teachers' names, it's so highly trained on you. Who owns that, and how do we keep that secure? Like, to me, that's the scary part about that. But we're in that messy middle right now. So if I said in 5 years from now, I said to my personal AI, hey, book me some tickets to LA from LaGuardia for me and the kids. It's going to know everything.
Yeah.
And it's going to bring me back a UI, if I so choose to have one, that it's building on the spot for me. That's the adaptive UI piece. So it'll go look here, here, and here, bring back what it knows I probably want, and then build an interface for me to choose from. So that's where there's 2 layers of design in that adaptive UI. There's the orchestration layer, the development layer, and then the UI layer.
Yeah.
So I think the next few years for designers, it's going to, if you're not an orchestrator, you're going to have a little bit of trouble finding work, I think, because there's plenty of people who do UI, right? It'll be like components from a design system that it's likely pulling from. Once that work is done, if you don't understand that orchestration layer, and I'm going to have a ton of content about this, designing the orchestration layer for design. It's just an amazing time to be alive if you love change. If you hate change, and I see the people on LinkedIn who don't like any of this, it's a hard time, and I really feel for them, because I think there's a genetic predisposition to like things to be homogenous. And if you're one of those people, this is a really rough time. And that's why I put out so much free content and educational content, because if you're a UX designer and you've applied to, say, 400 jobs and you haven't heard anything back, and you decide to upskill, you don't have $5,000-$6,000 to learn 1 skill or 2 skills.
Right.
So my movement really is about democratizing knowledge for designers who want that like supercharged skill set, so they have a shot at getting work down the road. I love this community so much, and for me to see the struggles and the pain, and I'm living in my car, and I'm selling peanuts on the corner because I can't get a job. I can't get hired at Home Depot posts. Those wreck me. And for me, it's like, well, what can I do to help? And this is the only thing I could think of. So I'm generating content constantly to try and help people just keep learning on their own. I even wrote
I was going to say, you said something really interesting, and I just wanted to delve into it a little bit further, where you said, this UI layer, I think that is going to be more and more commoditized, right? Like AI is going to get better and better at that piece, right? So making design further away from that piece, I think, is smart. When you say people need to be great at the operational layer, orchestration, thank you. What exactly does that mean? Like, what skills is somebody exhibiting when they're working in there? What is that actually like?
It's 2 different things. So there's the agentic version of orchestration, and then the adaptive UI version of orchestration. So adaptive UI is fun and emerging, so I'll go to that one first. Okay. Imagine you're shopping on a website, and you're a bargain shopper, you're a guy, so you want to get in and out, and you're like very cautious. The interfaces for each type of persona, shall we say, should be different. You should be served. I always say it should be like the perfect butler who brings you exactly what you need the moment you need it. So I'm a bargain shopper too. So my interface should have coupons, automatically sort maybe from cheapest to most expensive, and that orchestration is, this is the persona, these are the components of the website, this type of shopper should get X, Y, and Z. You're orchestrating between the data, the user, and the interface. So you're creating all those relationships. And it's the same thing with agents. So say you have 10 agents that do, we'll say e-commerce again. My e-commerce swarm has 26 agents.
And when you say agent, you mean like a specific AI bot that's doing a specific.
And they all have different.
Make sure we got the lexicon all together.
Like, I don't anthropomorphize them. They all have different labels, but they all have different relationships with each other. So maybe the shopping cart has to have a relationship with the payment agent. I'm kind of just making this up as I go because I don't have them all memorized. But you have to orchestrate their relationships to each other, when they hand off, why they hand off, what they hand off to each other. Just think of it like any team that works together. They all have their main job. They all lean on other people on the team for different things, or I should say bots. I don't like to anthropomorphize. What the final when is done, what is the final outcome, and everything in between. So you're orchestrating data and relationships and inputs and outputs, and it's super interesting. I think what happens though, is people who love visual design don't love this.
Mm.
Different type of thinking, different part of the
different
brain.
Right.
Mm.
And I'm an artist. I'm a visual designer. I came out of the womb with a crayon in my hand, and I feel for them because that type of designer, that stuff is in their soul. So
Yeah.
like, where do they go? What do they do? And my 2 cents is like, go to the art studio. I think human generated art, generated writing is going to be elevated in this age of slop. So
Yeah.
to me, when I see something that's really well written by a human, I'm like, oh, thank you, I love this.
Like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
Like,
same thing with art, right? Like all the AI generated images, I'm like, ugh, so gross, so old, so done. So
Yeah.
I think there is hope for like people to get hands on again. But if you want to keep working in tech, my 2 cents is the people who are in charge of the AI will keep working.
Right. Understanding that layer, understanding how it all works together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a time of a lot of thinking about interaction patterns again. They kind of got written for a while there. We know best practice with e-commerce. We know an effective checkout flow. We know what kind of converts a bit quicker and our path to purchase and conversion rate optimization, all these things. It's getting rewritten, I think, now because that interaction is totally changed. Now they're not even going to the store, for example, the website. They're just asking their chat, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini, hey, I'm going to the snow next week and I need a pair of shoes that are going to suit. And then it's been served there. They never even went over here in the checkout flow and everything. So as a designer,
SEO is disappearing. I mean, lots of change. That's what I'm saying. If you're not into change, it's a hard time to be in this.
Absolutely. Yeah. But an exciting time for designers to maybe be able to rewrite things. And sometimes I feel hopeful around maybe designers earlier in their career, because it's like you're working at a time where things are new anyway. So your experience versus a designer with 10 years experience in the old way, it feels like it's evening the playing fields in some cases and in some scenarios. And that can be hopeful, I think, for earlier stage designers of just like fresh thinking, new paradigms, like, the work and the evidence does all the talking.
This is more of a philosophical kind of comment / question, but just thinking about, okay, so if we take this concept of like this butler that's giving us everything that we need, and we don't actually have to like shop at the store, to your point, Jared, like we're just getting all this stuff like very custom tailored to us. And I think on the one hand, that feels very luxurious, right? It's like, oh, I have this concierge. It's like my personal concierge. I get what I want. Like, I don't have to think about things. They just, offer it up to me. But I think there's another part of me that's just wondering, will we lose something in that experience, right? Like we're going to be losing like seeing other options or other viewpoints or having those friction moments that actually might be somewhat positive. Like it might be not exactly what we ordered up or thought we wanted, but I feel like it could also diminish this kind of spontaneous discovery and like things that I wasn't expecting. Do you know what I mean? I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that, Anne, and like, what your opinion is. Does that feel like that's a future that's coming our way, that we don't really have choice outside of, what the bots want to give us?
Well, it's interesting. I wrote on this because I had the same thoughts, and it was like, I forget the name of the carousel. It's in my featured section on LinkedIn, but it's about like UIs that will never go away because we love them too much, like shopping, types of shopping, like visually, like shopping for art or area rugs or stuff for the house or clothes, right? I'm always going to want to see that. So social media, I think people know those UIs are not going to go away. People are addicted to it. That gaming, that's not going to go away, right? So some things will never go away. But what I worry about is struggle yields character, like in humans in general, right? So that part I worry about and don't have an answer to. But I do think there's going to be this renaissance of people creating things because they're just sick of this shit, right? They're just like, ugh, that AI generated slop. I
Yeah.
just don't want to read it. I don't want to look at it. I want to eat food cooked by a human, not a robot, because that's coming, like, so I think it's going to be like certified organic. I actually tried to buy certifiedhuman.com, like it was taken, or they wanted like $10,000 for it. Like somebody else had the vision, but I think there's going to be class division in all once again, right? And how do we fight?
Class division meaning like us versus the bots, or class within?
It's gonna divide humans first, and then maybe us against the bots. But that's a
Matrix.
There's a whole other scary conversation, right? Like, how far do we let them go? And the people, the billionaires, the oligarchs in charge, they just want more money. So I don't know if I'm, we did a really bad job protecting our kids from social media. I really hope we could do a better job protecting them from this. So
and then all those oligarchs never let their kids actually go on social media because they knew the bad effects.
Yes, I one of my business ideas is to open up a spiritual center in like Silicon Valley. To start like reprogramming the powers that be. Somebody called me the AI priestess, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to open a spirituality center, and I'm going to fix the oligarchs." I have big dreams, but it'll always be about money for a lot of people in charge. So I don't know how to fix that either. But I think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like what you said, but like the analog, like the human, like that stock is going to raise a lot when AI comes in and takes over more and more of our daily interactions and just things that we create, right? Like I like that concept.
I think there is a demand for a level of quality in software now, and on the topic of designers and them maintaining their careers or furthering their careers. Companies that are building software or creating software to be used, there is more than ever a higher expectation of quality in it, because if you're going to pay that company for that software, it's a subscription or whatever it might be, you expect it to work, to look good, to feel good. You expect something from it, because if you don't get it from that, the way that you could vibe code something now or spin something up with a bit of savviness, you could probably just build your own solution. I want a flight tracker, blah, 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 subscribe for $2 a month. You can get, it's like, well, I could do that, or I could just build it myself. So
what's interesting?
So there is that quality. So as a designer, I still feel like there's room for making quality products and software that people do see a value in subscribing to and paying for, and that's having some human touch, that's elevating something further. That's, I think that designers will always have a place to take 100%. It a step further. Because I couldn't vibe code something as good as a designer, that's for sure. So maybe I do want to pay for that software.
This is the thing, and I was just about to write on this because I'm starting to see the pattern emerge. I know like 4 or 5 people who are vibe coding hiring tools. Right. The designers build much nicer things than developers. Yeah. So, but now anybody can build anything, and empowering designers to be engineers makes us like the full package.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I can see it. Like it hit me like a ton of bricks. A good friend built something amazing. I'm playing with his, and I'm like, wow, this is something. And then somebody else built something similar, and I was clicking around, and I was like, oh boy, not so amazing. And then somebody else, I was clicking around, similar solution. Most of it's solutions for recruiters too, which is interesting.
For the ones that need the most help.
Always.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Disagree.
I think a lot of people see this huge hiring problem and are like, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna build something to fix this. So I think there are a lot of people building the same things.
Yeah.
Who wins? I can't, like, honestly, I think the AI companies are gonna win, because they're watching everything that people are building. They're watching everything people are coding. They're the ones who are gonna say, look what we have, even though 50 people built the same thing using their tools. They're the ones that might win. So that concerns me a little bit too. Like, is the small product person who's built, they keep saying there's going to be, $1 billion AI company with one employee.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's really going to win when the AI companies are watching everything we're coding and building and can take it at any time. So I don't know. Again, I'm not sure about, but I am seeing this pattern of people building the exact same things as the other, and the people with the design shops definitely outbuilding the people without shops. So,
a discernible difference in the experience for the user.
yeah.
Definitely.
And my
Well, hey, if there's a small company that can build a recruiting tool that's like going to beat out LinkedIn, I'd be so happy. Because LinkedIn is on my shit list right now, because they used to have like
They're going to shut us down. They're going to pull the plug on the feed.
You know what? I'm going to just be risky and just do it.
Go for it.
About me.
The fact that they can close you down on a whim, though.
Huh?
The fact that LinkedIn can close down your account on a whim.
Oh, incredibly. It's like, but so can social media. Social media does it all the time for people that might say something like slightly incendiary or just political, but it's like, that's the conversation that we're in America right now, is that it's a highly political moment, a very scary moment. But LinkedIn used to have like regular search functionality. Like you could search for the person's like prior company. You could search by name. Now they've shitified the whole thing by saying, oh, we put AI, like this AI layer on it. So just tell us what you're looking for. Tell us you're looking for product designers with 3 to 5 years of experience in New York that have come from these companies. It does not work.
No,
it does not work. And so we're, us recruiters are paying a good amount of money per month for whatever, kind of tier of LinkedIn we use. But I find it pretty unusable now. But there's no real other great options right now at scale that I think we're using, unless I'm just not aware of it. Maybe this could be an edifying conversation.
It all comes back to everybody firing their UXRs for me. Like, bring back the UX researchers, man. It's obvious you're not doing research to me in a lot of these situations. I'm like, who tested this? Right? Wasn't tested. There's no way, right? So I think it's part of
That is a role that really dropped off, didn't it? The UX side. I personally never worked too heavily in that space. I skewed a lot more just to product design and brand design, but it seems like there has been less demand in the UXR area for a while now.
These are the people who are guiding good decisions. Bring them back. It's ridiculous. It's short-sighted is what it is.
I agree. I was talking to a researcher a couple months ago, and he was like, I don't understand why startups don't hire like a founding researcher before the founding designer. Obviously, designers have to be end to end, right? They have to have the research component, the UX, UI, everything, plus now the business goals, and just like basically be a CEO themselves. But I agreed with him. I think that it is a waste of time to not have someone who's really excited and skilled and wants to do that research when they're already doing like everything else. And I agree. Even if it's not a founding researcher, it could be a founding designer and the founding researcher team together. I think that would be better.
Right. And the researcher could be broader than just UX research. They could be doing like market intelligence and consumer insights and things like that. Like they could be much more broad than just that to make it worthwhile.
Bring them back. Bring back the
research. Startup space is tough. What are a couple of AI experiences or products that you've used and that you think are a great representation of what the technology can do thus far? Have you used something recently and been like, wow, that was good. Hats off to that, conversation designer or voice designer or,
I love Claude Code. I love Notebook LLM.
Anthropic. Google. Very good.
I should say I love, if you're a designer and you struggle with Claude Code and you're not like into like that command line interface, Google AI Studio actually cranks out some good stuff.
Okay.
But I love Whisper Flow. I always say I'm not a writer, I'm a talker. And Whisper Flow allows me to dictate, and it fixes all my ums and spaces and misspelling. Like, I'm a notorious typo queen.
Yeah, me too.
One, it's I'm so, my brain is so much faster than my fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't care. Like, I just need to get it out. So I hit send and go back and be like, somebody told me the other day, I thought you were having a stroke. But then part of me is like, if I leave in the cuss words and the misspellings, I'm human.
It's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that same person who said, Anne, I thought you were having a stroke, but then I realized you're doing this on purpose. You're no dummy. Like, we know you know how to spell, but you're leaving your typos in, and I knew it was you. And there's a lot of especially on LinkedIn, there's so many generated slop comments.
Yeah.
So is it like, is cursing and typos a sign of humanity? Fuck yeah.
Case in point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's that. But that's what I love, Whisper Flow, for that. I also love granola.
Okay.
But again, remember, nothing is secure, nothing is sacred. You own nothing. They have it all. So you have to go in knowing this, right? Like, you have to be comfortable with that.
Okay.
And I'm not necessarily comfortable, but I've accepted it because it's going to be this trade between your convenience and your data.
Yeah.
How much convenience, as you're a working mom with 3 kids, convenience is everything, right? Like, you're going to have to weigh out what you care about, what you don't, right? So it's interesting times. I am a mom of 3 kids who work, so I need that.
Convenience matters to you too. Yeah.
I do not want to go grocery shopping. I do not want to spend time jerking around fighting with my cable company. I just don't, none of that. So until something like egregious happens to me and my data, of course I'm going to feel that way until something bad happens, and then I'm going to have regrets.
Right.
I know. I'm just so afraid of like what they are going to do with their data. Like, they're not doing anything yet necessarily, well, besides selling it behind our backs. But then what are they actually going to do with it? Right. It's like, I was just talking about this at a birthday party last night. Some people did 23andMe.
Yep.
I was like, I know people, I mean, I can understand the appeal. I actually thought about doing it at one point. I was like, ooh, like, who are my relatives? And am I part Neanderthal, or at least more than I know?
We could have told you that.
Yeah, it's so intriguing. But then when you really think about it, you're like, I'm giving like possibly the government
my DNA.
There's a lot of distrust of that right now going on in the US. I'm giving them like my most personal data. I'm giving them my genome.
I'm with you. I agree. I'm so curious. I have some genetic stuff, family that I want to dig deep into.
Yeah.
Because I'm Italian. I was raised Italian, but my last name is Spanish.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, where did great grandpa come from that we ended up with this Spanish name, but we're all from Italy? Like, I'm curious. I'm not that curious where they're going to own my genetics.
Exactly.
Terrifying.
Exactly. Right. So it's like, I feel like what's happening now isn't quite as like boombastic as the genetics example, but it might as well be like pretty soon when we're telling our GPT, like I'm doing dream analysis on GPT right now, which has been pretty interesting. It was really cool for the first few times, but now I think it's trying to fit everything in the narrative that was established at the beginning. And I'm kind of like, sometimes just like, a weird floating pipe is just a weird floating pipe.
It's just,
You have to give it rules. You have to give the AI rules to follow.
Yeah. So what should I say? So if I want to, like, what should I say in this case? Like, don't try to plug it into the original story, or what's a prompt I could use?
You know what? Leave that, whatever one you're using that has no memory on you, and go to one that you haven't had the conversation with it yet. See what it does.
Reset it.
Sometimes I'll use, especially if I'm doing prompting something that's really kind of long, I'll take that prompt and I'll put it in 4 different ones and see what instruction it's giving me to change.
Oh, right? Okay, interesting.
Sometimes there's value in it not knowing you and not having memory of a conversation you've already had, like starting. So sometimes there's value in that for sure.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Anyway, my original point was just like, we're giving all this like very personal information. Like, where is that going? Like, where is that going to end up? I guess that's
right. Yeah. And we're seeing it with like that whole Moltbot insanity, like that whole thing taking over everyone's feeds about the social media agents on social media and how they're behaving, and they're going to take over the world and all the viral BS that
okay. I'm not familiar with this story. What is that?
Grateful.
Yeah.
You'd be grateful you didn't see it. It was just,
Okay.
but
Oh,
it is
God.
kind of interesting. But that's the other thing. One of the skills that luckily I feel like I have instinctually that people need to develop is, and I started an AI support group because of this.
Wow.
Is what do I really need to pay attention to and what's important, because everything changes every 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Figuring that out together with other human beings. It's like the feel good meeting of the year, of the month. I do it once a month and we all show up and everybody, it's like, it's literally a support group. People who can't find work, people who
I
are
love that.
overwhelmed, people, just everybody just sort of unloads, talks about what's important. Like, what should I focus on? That is crazy right now because there's so much changing every single day. So develop that skill of what's important to focus on. That's some good advice. It's different for everybody. I can't tell you how to do that.
Yeah.
But critical thinking, it's not so common.
Not as common as it should be.
It's more common than common sense, though, maybe.
Okay. See what you did there. Wow. This is our bright future we've got to look forward to.
No. I feel like we should talk about puppy dogs and ice cream or something. Something a little more.
Yeah.
Or things you can build with your hands beside, like, art, pottery, sourdough bread. Like, find your thing. Find your thing and let that be your escape from all this. Right? Woodworking, like, I feel like those subjects are like beautiful to talk about, super important to instruct people. Hey, most likely you need something like this to help you deal with job, AI, screens, kids. Like, it's a really it's part of your wellness plan. Like, you should have a wellness plan for yourself.
Yeah.
Doing your hands should be part of it.
Yeah.
Swimming, whatever your thing is. Like, it's, if you don't have a thing, there's got to be something out there for you. I always tell people, go wander around the library and wherever you stop, like whatever section kind of grabs you, maybe that's an avenue to kind of start looking at for your thing outside of the screens.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's a good point. I like that.
Yeah,
Go to the library.
I read that years ago when one of my kids started getting old enough to start thinking about what they wanted to do for a living. And I was like, one of the things I read was that, and I was like, that's a great idea, and do it quick while we still have libraries and paper books.
Wow.
Right? Because to me, paper books are like sacred.
Yep, same
I
for
know,
me.
just the smell of them, like the paper, like the dust.
Yeah,
something magical about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, and you've obviously devoted a lot of your life, I mean, especially in the past 4 to 6 years around AIs. I mean, you have a love for it too, obviously. I know we've been speaking a lot about the dystopian aspect of like where AI might lead us as a society, but what are some of the benefits, or what are the things that you're excited about when it comes to AI and how it can help us as a society?
There's a couple things. Convenience as a mom of 3, right? Like, I don't want to grocery shop. I don't want to deal with BS. I don't want to call the cable company. Medical advancement. People are like, oh, AI hasn't done anything. If you Google medical advancements caused by AI in the last year, there's crazy stuff happening. I also had 2 elderly parents, and watching the medical system around them. Nurses are striking all over the country because ER nurses have 20 patients per nurse, something abusive and extreme. One of the first things I built was a multi-agent nurse's assistant, activated. So, because I'm watching these people struggle, and one of my parents had Alzheimer's, and a lot of times they need to be watched from afar. I feel like AI vision can say, hey, that diaper's wet. Hey, this person is struggling with this. Hey, this help these nurses. Right, and caregivers and the nurses' assistants, and as much as there's kind of concern around privacy, AI vision should be able to alert a nurse, hey, there's a fall risk happening, hey, there's vomiting happening, hey, there's a dirty, like, so technology that can assist
the
people
human
who are spread too thin and abused by their kind of industry, like nurses, like teachers. Like for school, I have a whole, other thing. I have a special needs child who really struggled in school. The difference an AI tutor in his pocket that to teach him the way he likes to learn
Yep.
would have been everything. You know, it would have you off the phone doing battle, fighting for IEPs, fighting for services, fighting for this, fighting for that. And my son is low level, like he just has like some small learning stuff, right? Imagine having a child who has severe I don't even know what the right word is. I hope it's say handicap. Whatever their need is, that's different, to be able to have a personal assistant for them.
Right.
That's always there. You're helping the child, but you're helping the teachers. You think the teachers don't want to help these kids? Of course they do. They have 30 kids in their room.
Stretched thin. Yeah.
They're spread thin too. And notice it's always jobs, female, service, right? So helping certain people in certain industries kind of be better for their job, but also for the better that they're serving. I think it'd be huge and beautiful there too. But I try to be a very balanced AI person, right? I'm about responsibility, ethics, all of it, the environment. I worry about that. But one of the things I joke about is like, when the time comes to be Sarah Connor, I want to be Sarah Connor. And you can't be Sarah Connor if you don't know shit about AI. So, you know, of course I have, you know, I want to be the Khaleesi. I want to be Sarah Connor. I want to be General Organa. You know, I have all these like weird female empowerment sci-fi fantasies, and you can't do any of that if you're not deeply educated on the thing.
You got to know the enemy.
Sarah Connor in T2 was a badass, and in T1 she didn't know what was going on, so she was going for the ride.
Right. Well, I've been hitting the gym hard for like 18 months, so
there you go. T2
too. Yeah. But seriously, like people are like, oh, I hate AI. Well, if you hate it, you better learn about it, because you're going to need to protect yourself from it, and your family and your kids and everything else. So yeah, when I did my talk in California, one of the first people came up to me was a grandma who was like, I hate AI. I'm like, all the more reason you should be studying it.
Should be savvy with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understand it. Yeah.
Yes. I do feel like a hypocrite a lot, but I do a ton of giving back to my community. I do a ton of stuff for free, like trying to find that balance between working in this space and advocating for the people who could eventually become victims of this space.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Balance.
Some protections are needed. Yeah. Wow.
Are there like little courses for the elderly specifically, or
I'm going to start looking at my libraries, my local libraries. I'm going to do one everyday AI for anybody who wants to kind of start learning some basics. And I'm also going to do, to promote my consulting, is, you know, AI for your business and what that sort of looks like. But I'm really kind of compulsed to go speak out in the world where there's actually people too.
Yeah.
And make connections and relationships with other human beings. But yeah, I think for certain generations, they're going to be dependent on younger generations to kind of protect them. We're seeing it, all the phone scanners, right? They call the elderly, they get them to give away we have to be in charge of protecting them. It's our duty. Like in the US, we don't care for our elderly properly at all. And this is just one aspect of it. I think we have to help protect them.
All right. And what about for our listeners today? Design, product, doesn't matter what discipline you are, but people that want to start to learn, like it sounds like you have these beautiful libraries of knowledge out there. Are there resources that you could point them towards?
I push people towards Conversation Design Institute because they're affordable and it's great foundational stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, there are some people who post. I think his name is Reuven Cohen. Reuven with a V, not with a V, not with a B. Reuven Cohen. He started the Agentics Foundation. I think he's one of the most important follows on LinkedIn. He's like 8 years ahead of everybody.
Amazing.
Super, super insane. I mean, for the first year I followed him, I had to take every single one of his posts and run it through ChatGPT and have it teach me what the hell he was talking about.
Wow.
Right. Like I always say, there's next level, there's next level, there's next level, and then there's Reuven. So he's an important follow. The Agentics Foundation is a great mix that to get into. There's a free level you can join and
Yeah.
just watch, because that's how I got a lot of the skills I have now, was just by watching these high level coders do their magic with Claude. So yeah, I think and me, I hate to say follow me, but
Hey, you're a voice.
if
Yeah.
you look in my featured section and my resource library, it's a boot camp for free.
Yep.
But it's self-teaching. You have to, I always tell people, start with the glossaries, learn the lingo, and then progress to whatever kind of catches your attention. Because conversation design might not be for you. I always tell like UX designers, UI designers, imagine a flow you know really well, like a checkout, right? Close your eyes and then imagine how you would build it through words.
Yeah.
Conversational words, voice.
Yeah.
If that doesn't appeal to you, then this might not be your thing.
Yeah.
Because
Totally.
it's difficult designing a conversation that is fluid and makes sense and has context, does all the things like that perfect butler who's, he doesn't just happen. He's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, what a great conversation, Anne. Thanks.
I appreciate you sharing all of that.
So yeah, I mean, my intention is to work and keep my bills paid, but mostly to get those posts of I've been designing for 20 years and I'm living in my car to stop. That's my goal. That shit has to stop. Yeah, I can't take it. It's painful for me to watch my community and my people struggle like this. So yeah, get off the struggle bus and come and upskill.
Empower yourself. Yeah. Yep. Totally. Well, thanks everyone. I'm going to hit the button. This has been great.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.